This is Dr. Sam TSIMIKAS, and I'm going to give you a brief summary of my talk at the Lipids and Lipoprotein session that's concurrently going on. I was asked to speak about therapeutics for lipid disorders that will be ensuing in the future, and my discussion will start with a review of the field of this novel technology that targets RNA, and this is RNA therapeutics, and this is a field that's very early in its inception, but there are already 3 drugs that have been approved in this area that target various disorders. The first drug was actually mipomersen or Kinamro, which targeted ApoB. And RNA therapeutics is fundamentally different than current approaches, which usually use small molecules or antibodies to affect lipoprotein function and therefore reduce atherogenic lipoproteins. RNA therapeutics is fundamentally different in that the drugs work directly in the cells, in this case in the hepatocyte, to inhibit the production of protein that's associated with lipid disorders. And I'm going to actually review 3 drugs that are being targeted in this way. And the first one is apolipoprotein C3. And apolipoprotein C3 is present on chylomicrons and triglyceride-rich lipoproteins. And it's been shown that when patients have elevated triglycerides, that ApoC3 levels are very elevated, and they inhibit the clearance of these particles through various mechanisms. And one of the drugs, called volanesorsen, inhibits ApoC3 production in the liver and has been shown to markedly reduce triglyceride levels. This paves the way for both treating patients with unusual lipid disorders, such as familial chylomicronemia syndrome, as well as more broadly later in cardiovascular disease. The second drug I'm going to talk about is a drug that inhibits apolipoprotein A to reduce Lp(a) levels, and this is now in phase 2 clinical development, and this also fundamentally affects the production of ApoA in the hepatocyte, thereby reducing Lp(a) levels. This approach currently is really the only way to effectively reduce Lp(a), as Lp(a) does not have any enzyme activity or receptor function per se, and therefore is very difficult to reduce the levels outside of inhibiting the production in the hepatocyte. And finally, I'm going to talk about angiopoietin-like 3, which is a protein that also is associated with both triglyceride and LDL abnormalities, and an antisense oligonucleotide has gone through phase 1 clinical trials and has been shown to reduce LDL and triglycerides, and actually also ApoC3. And this drug may be very useful for patients that have metabolic syndrome type disorder, where they have both elevated LDL or ApoB-containing lipoproteins as well as triglycerides, and therefore it may have a unique application in that patient group. So this is an area that's growing. It's going to grow substantially over the next 2 decades, and you'll be seeing many therapeutic agents targeting lipids, and as well as other targets that are in the non-cardiovascular space using RNA therapeutics. Thank you.